Welcome to this webinar on how to use the Reyee PoE Calculation tool. My name is Berger Mendares. I am pre-imposters engineer at Econ, and it's a pleasure for me to be here with you for this webinar. So before we begin, please scan the QR code displayed in this presentation, so you will be registered as participant for this webinar. You can use the Reyee app in order to scan this QR code displayed. So let's begin. Before showing you how to use the PoE calculation tool, we will start with a brief introduction to the basic concept of PoE. So PoE, or Power over Ethernet, is a technology that enables network cables to carry electrical power along with data to devices. This means a single Ethernet cable can provide both a data connection and electrical power to devices such as wireless access points, IP cameras, PoE phones, eliminating the need for separate power supplies or outlets. This technology emerged in the year of 2003, and PoE simplifies the installation of networked devices and is widely used in various scenarios, from home networks to large-scale enterprise environments. It can be beneficial in locations where installing power lines is difficult or expensive. We can broadly categorize PoE technologies into two types: active and passive PoE. Active PoE, it refers to a type of PoE where the power sourcing equipment, PSE, typically a PoE switch or PoE injector, actively negotiate the power requirements with the connected power devices, such as AP cameras, IP phones, access points. And this negotiation is done through a series of handshakes defined by the IEEE standards, such as the 802.3AF, the AT and BT standards. So when using the anti-PoE, the switch or power sourcing equipment actively negotiates with the device, and there is no risk of damage. So we have to take into consideration that all Reyee switches support only active PoE, and that's fine. Um, Passive PoE is a simpler form of delivering power over Ethernet cabling to power devices without the need for active negotiation between the power source in the equipment and the power device. And passive PoE provides power at levels like 12 volts, 24 volts, or 48 volts. And when using passive PoE, it's crucial to ensure that the voltage and power requirements match between the power source and the device to avoid potential damage. And how does PoE work? Well, this technology uses two pairs of wires in Ethernet cable for power transmission, while the remaining pairs can be used for data transmission. But it depends on the type or category. But we will discuss this deeper later. For data transmission, but with the most recent type of PoE, simultaneous data and power transmission, the cables is possible, as we can appreciate in this video. So let's go deeper into it. What are the different type of active PoE? Well, each Ethernet cable has 4 pairs of wires, 8 wires in total. And for typical Ethernet data, 4 wires are used for fast Ethernet, that is 100 megabits per second, and 8 wires are used for gigabit transmissions or gigabit plus, is more than 1000 megabits per second. And we have the PoE type 1 and 2, in which transfer are possible. So 4 of the 8 wires are used for data, 4 wires for high power transmissions. And we have also the PoE type 4, in which all the 8 wires can transfer ultra high power and data at the same time. So we have this type, the type 1, or the standard IEEE 802.3AF. This emerged in the year 2003 and provides a power of 15 watts. The type 2, or PoE plus, this is the standard IEEE 802.3AT and emerged in the year 2009 and provides a power of 30 watts. We also have the Type 3, also known as PoE++. This standard work under the IEEE 802.3BT, emerged in the year 2018, and provides a power of 60 watts. And we have also the Type 4, also known as 4PPoE. This standard work under the IEEE 802.3BT, emerged in the same year, and provides a power of either 90 watt or 100 watt. PoE compatibility. This is something that we had to take into consideration. We cannot connect a device to a switch if both operate under the same standard, or if the device supports a lower PoE standard than the switch. We can connect both devices, but we cannot connect a device that requires a higher standard to a switch that only supports a lower standard, as we can see in this image. And how is the PoE power supply distance calculated? So, the PoE power supply distance is mainly influenced by cable quality, power standard, and power loss due to cable resistance. So, we have to take this into consideration. The standard limit. PoE is typically designed for 100 meters or 328 feet using the category 5E or better cables with a long distance transmission feature. And the CCTV Reyee switches can extend the distance up to maximum of 250 meters, and that's good for Reyee switches with this feature. And the PO standard and it's different. So with different PoE standards such as the AF, AT, or BT, this define how much power can be delivered, with higher standards supporting longer distance for more power-hungry devices. So this is very important to take this into considerations. First, the standard AF or PoE delivers up to 15 watts at the source, with about 12.95 watts available at the device end after accounting for power loss. This is very important to take into consideration. The AP, the standard IEEE AOT to 0.380 or PoE Plus delivers up to 30 watts with about 25 watts available at the device end, while the standard BT or PoE can deliver up to 60 watts. Approximately 51 watts is available at the device end, or 100 watts, and for this amount, around 71 to 90 watt is available only. So, how we can select the PoE switches? Well, to select the right Reyee PoE switch, we had to consider these key factors. First, the device power need. It is necessary to check the power requirements of connected devices, such as access points, IP cameras. The PoE standard, choose between the different PoE standard, AF, AT, or BT, based on the device power demands. we had to take into consideration as well the port count. So ensure the switch has enough PoE port for all devices. The power budget, confirm the switch power budget covered all devices. And the distance, if it is necessary to transmit over distance greater than 100 meters, look for models with long distance transmission supporting out to 250 meters. So let's see a practical demonstration how to use this cool feature, the calculation tool. So the Reyee PoE calculation tool is very helpful when deciding on the appropriate PoE switch. If you're unsure about how to select the right PoE switch, simply use this PoE calculator tool from Reyee. Enter the information about the power device and the tool will automatically recommend the PoE switches for you. Now I will show you a practical demonstration. So wait a moment in order that I can project my smartphone or the Reyee app application for this calculation tool demonstration. First, we have to go to Reyee app. Now, go to Toolkit, and here we have this function, the PoE calculation. Click on Start button, and we can select the devices for our switch. And for example, I'm going to select to enter this device, 5 access point with the consumption of 12.95 watts. We can see this list. We can select whatever device we want to test. And we can select also other devices such as cameras. First, we have to select the rated power for the camera. Let's say I want a camera with a power consumption of 15 watt. And also we can select another devices. So I'm going to select a device that will consume the 25 watt. And I will have 5 cameras and another 2 devices with that consumption. And let's calculate. And that's it. We have the recommended devices. The minimum required power is 236.70 watt. The minimum required port are 13, but for the devices to have some flexibility in terms of power budget and port, the recommended power is 240 watt, and the recommended port is 16. and line loss and minimum margin has been taken into consideration. We can see the list of recommended devices. This tool is very useful and very easy to use. We can return for correction if it's necessary. I am going to add another access point and recalculate. And here we have the recommended devices and the recommended power for this amount of devices. So by using this tool, we can select the switches that are suitable for the powering of the devices that we need with PoE. It is a very useful, very cool tool that you can use in order to select the proper devices switches for your project. If we go to product, you can do this manually as well, but it is more difficult. It's tough to decide what is the proper switch for our project if you do this manually. So you can go to the device and see what is the information. For example, if you want to do this manually, you can go to switch, search for PoE switches, and search for the total number of port and the PoE budget, maximum PoE power budget, the standard PoE supported by the switch. Make these calculations manually. Also look for the access point and see what is the power consumption of these models. We can see here the standard PoE standard supported and also the power consumption. And it is possible to do that manually, but with the calculation tool, all this is very easy because the tool will show me what is the recommended devices automatically by just entering the information about the devices that we need uh, to silent for our project. So during this, we have reached the end of this webinar. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to share that in the question panel. So thank you for joining this webinar. It seems that everything is clear. So thank you again, and I wish you all a great day. Farewell.